Good morning, pregame crew. How are ya? It is Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, 6:21 a.m. Mountain Time, 8:21 a.m. Eastern Time. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hey, Hector, Shake and Bake, Clifton, Greg, Andre, Amitav. Sorry, I probably butchered your name. Card Lady. Hey, Tom, Gino, B-Hawk, Swarming Zone. Hey, Paul, Marvin. Yeah, hit that like button. Hey, Carlos, Fernando, Catahoula, Tess. I'm just looking. I think Carlos is in Tuscany. Catahoula, you're in Louisiana. Tess Robbins, I believe you're in the San Francisco area. All these people from all over the world. I think Anu is in India. Hey, Kat. Thanks, Rob. Mike, Bobo, KK, Andre. Hello, Berlin. Berlin is in the house. See, everybody's here. I go over NASDAQ, but I can look at QQQ. Same thing. NASDAQ gives you more information because it trades 23 hours a day, 5 days a week, but we can look at QQQ. Yep, that was right, Tess. That's what I thought. So we'll get started here in about 8 minutes. I jump on early to say hello to my friends. I like to chat and get my TA muscles warmed up. Anu lives in Singapore. Okay, sorry, Anu. There's someone with a similar name from India. I'm so sorry. Singapore. Sounds awesome. I've never been. Hey, Duke. Speaking of awesome, hey, Awesome Zero. Awesome. I think you took that XLE trade. I hope you did. I hope you killed it. Hey, Cliff. Okay. Let me go back up to the top. Okay, BRKB, Berkshire. Monthly high or low is the more likely scenario. Very healthy chart. On the monthly, we can see here that we got a higher high on price and RSI made a lower high. So we do have some bearish divergence there. Hence the consolidation. Weekly lower high is the more likely scenario on the next bounce. Daily lower high, the next daily lower high, the more likely scenario as well. Pitiful bounce here. This higher high didn't get any follow through. I would stay in reverse back burner mode on this one, meaning I would short 15-minute overbought conditions during regular trading hours and keep looking short until the bulls prove otherwise. Sorry about that. Got a frog in my throat. Let's look at QQQ. Let me fix my yesterday. No, it is fixed. Awesome. A daily lower high is the more likely scenario on QQQ. 4 hour, we're going sideways as bulls and bears duke it out. Microsoft and Google are competing, and I will just remind you, let me pull this up over here, that Microsoft is a larger holding in QQQ. Let's see. Microsoft is a larger holding than both classes of Google. So Microsoft will have a little more weight on the market than Google's miss. So Google missed on cloud revenue and the market is punishing them. So if you look at Microsoft, we got a bull move, and Google, bear move. But again, Microsoft will have more weight on QQQ than Google. So that's why we're going sideways right now. They're duking it out. Daily lower high is the more likely scenario. First hourly overbought, let me go set that alert, will be an opportunity to short, in my opinion. We have more data coming out at 10 a.m. And we have Fed Chair Powell is speaking at 4:35 Eastern after the market closes. And from my understanding, this is the blackout period. So he's not actually allowed to talk about financial policy. So it will be a brief introduction of someone from what I understand. So QQQ, I would stay in reverse back burner mode, meaning bounces are for shorting until bulls prove otherwise. I'm repeating myself a lot, I can tell already. Omar, I sell if I have an option that's going beautifully in my direction, I sell at open. Then if I get, let's say that you have a Google put, you do have one, is I would close it at open. And then if you get a bounce to say 5-minute overbought conditions during regular trading hours, then you could look to add it back. But typically you get a premium crush at open. So I would just close it and then wait for another spot to get in again is how I would trade it. With options, I have found historically it's best to just close it at open and then try to find another spot to get in if you still want that position and your thesis remains the same. As far as dip buying Google, they beat on everything but cloud revenue. A monthly lower high is the more likely scenario, and we're likely setting that today. Yep. 4-hour lower high is the more likely scenario. If everybody starts dip buying everything, Google will likely bounce with it, but it's so heavy. It's going to get downgrades and all kinds of stuff from the miss. So I just call it the 3-day no touch rule. Keep myself out of trouble. Oh, good. Awesome. I'm glad you took it, but I'm sorry that you had other losses. PLTR, okay. PLTR, a daily lower high is the more likely scenario here. You could look for a 4-hour pullback buy if you wanted to be a bull against 1521, but I wouldn't be a bull up here. Meta has earnings after hours. Monthly higher high without follow through on this sucker. I am not trading Meta earnings. I have a hair appointment after hours. I can't believe I did a hair appointment on Meta earnings day. Dang it. Yeah, this is in the middle of no trade zone for me. I can't trade it. I can go long against 306 or go short against 318. Yep. BA did have earnings. I'm going to get started on the well, shoot, I have time to look at BA. These bulls have so much work to do. They got their work cut out for them. They've got a catalyst now, and we like names that have a catalyst because they become a name in play, meaning they're going to have higher volume. I look at oil every day. Y'all ready to get started? Let's get this show on the road. Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. You want to give me a follow on Twitter at Chart Gal Lori? That would be lovely. What I do here every morning, we look at this economic calendar, 10 a.m. data, 30 minutes after market open. Don't forget, I show you this handy dandy table that is still leaning more bearish than bullish. Bitcoin's continuing to stand out as a major bull. We have a daily bear flag on most of our major indices. We got those weekly lower lows without follow through so far. We're in put up or shut up time as far as I'm concerned. That weekly lower low did not get a lot of follow through on ES, on NASDAQ. So now it's bulls time to shine and say, okay, that was just a bear fake out. Now let's trap some bears and then push it higher. But they're running out of time to negate this daily bear flag. That's just so super clear. Daily bear flag. So whatever name you're trading today, I want you to just put this picture in your head of this bear flag and remind yourself of where we're coming from and what we have to prove. You are much better off taking bearish trades with this type of setup. So bulls may prove it and then we get stopped out, but 9 times, well, that's not true. 6, 7 times out of 10, 60, 70% of the time, this is going to break to the downside. And you can check that out on patternsite.com. Bulkowski put the patterns to the test, and bear flags and bull flags resolve to their appropriate side about 66%, I believe. So this has more of a chance of breaking down than breaking up. But bulls are running out of time to break up. They got to do it today. And they may be waiting for tomorrow for Amazon earnings. And we've got Fed interest rate decision next Wednesday and Apple earnings next week. Hey, tomato juice, no, you are the best. Fat N, your love affair with SE has no bounds, no limits, does it? Monthly low or high, the more likely scenario. Daily holding EMAs, just fine. I would be looking at top fish 46.61. If you're in long, I'd stay in long as long as these daily EMAs support price. Okay, back to ES. I think we got this picture solidified in our head. Let's just zoom out for a little bit. Okay, monthly, we are looking for higher low. And that weekly bear break without follow through gives more credibility to the fact that this could be a bull flag on NASDAQ. And it'll be up to Amazon and Apple, in my opinion, to resolve this back to the upside if it's going to happen. So weekly tiny lower lows, again, I brought it up yesterday. I'll bring it up again today. Dan has been talking about these bear breaks without follow through, bull breaks without follow through. And that's because are the algos just trying to trap people that are doing just basic core technical analysis of buying support and selling resistance? That looks like what is happening. I don't know. And I like adultinism. Jim Dalton says exactness kills in trading. Exactness kills. So if you were shorting this break of support, that exactness would have killed because you're now trapped and you're 200 points underwater. Okay. Daily potential bear flag. But let's look at something here. Where did my little pen go? Right here. Back here, if you'd have asked me what that was, I would have said that's a potential daily bear flag. Right here, if you asked me what that is, I'd say a potential daily bear flag. And look how we resolve to the upside. Here, pull back and bounce. And that could easily happen here. Okay, so I just like looking at the right side of the chart and sequencing out these moves. What's the more likely thing to happen next, and then next, and then next? I tell y'all, we're historians. We're looking at the past to try to predict the future with probabilities. And we don't know for sure it's going to happen, but all we can do is use probabilities in our favor. First hourly overbought. You see that little alert set right there? I will be looking for a top fish on NASDAQ on first hourly overbought and or on ES. You see that little alarm set alert right there? That's what I'm watching for to potentially short. And I'm also testing this indicator over here. I'll give you a sneak peek if I can find it. Nope. What chart did I put that on? This one. NVIDIA. You see that this is a RSI historical indicator that I'm testing. This was Joey's concept and I'm really liking it. So we'll see how that evolves and how I can work that into my trading system and replace my regular RSI. Okay, you're just all over the place, Lori. YM potential daily bear flag. RTY has already broken through the low of yesterday. Super weak. RTY has not shown up to the party to participate. XLF, y'all see that weekly bear break without follow through? XLV, tiny bear break by 3 pennies and held. I would call this a double bottom for now. So XLV and XLF, they need to show up to the party. QQQ has been doing all of the work. They need to show up today and help. Weekly resistance on VIX, we're running into the weekly 200 MA and rejecting. Bounces are for shorting until the market bears prove otherwise, because VIX has just been melting down. This is good for the market. We need it to keep melting. Hang Seng was up 0.55% and DAX has really reversed. I need to change this in my notes. I have notes that are off screen. I copy and paste for TCG members when I am done. But Hang Seng up 0.55 and DAX is up 0.23. We still have headline risk of the war and all the terrible things happening over there for everybody involved. We have headline risk of Jimmy Carter passing away. Bless his family and him, and hopefully he is comfortable right now. So we always have headline risk, but more so now than usual. All right, Bitcoin. Bitcoin said, what headline risk? What, who, what, when, where? This RSI on the daily is 87. 87. Weekly RSI is overbought as well. Ethereum. Daily RSI is 72. It looks like the Bitcoin bulls are pricing in this ETF getting approved, which again, I suggest that you just start writing down your game plan of what a sell the news event looks like. If you want to know what that means, go to Doge. I don't remember exactly. Let me go see. Oh, that I've never seen that thing do that. That's funny. So when was Elon on Saturday Night Live? I want to say May. I don't remember. I think it was back in here. Whenever he was on Saturday Night Live, that's when this thing topped out, and it was a sell the news event. So go back and look at those charts where you had sell the news events. And I think that's could be what we're looking at with Bitcoin. Once the ETF is approved, I will be looking to go short. Terrace, when I say a daily lower high is more likely, I'm just saying, I'm not giving you the timing of when it will be set. I'm just saying that odds favor it will be set. Let me turn off the magnet. So somewhere between here at 44. Oh, I need my magnet on. That messed it up. 442325, a daily lower high is the more likely scenario compared to that number. I don't know when it'll be set, today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, or the next day. But odds favor that we don't clear this on our first try because of the size of this pullback. You see we're below 4293.50. That's the 38% retracement. We're still below that. That is a weak retracement. And I'm saying bears have more edge in this market than bulls right now. And that could change. So a daily lower high is the more likely scenario, but I'm not giving you the timing because that would be very difficult to predict right now with the current chart pattern. And let me show you what I mean by current chart pattern. So this chart pattern, I could have told you a more accurate time of when this was going to break. So here we were running out of time. You see how we had just maybe 2 months for this to break because we're getting so tight in this equilibrium. So the chart formation helped me. I could say, hey, this is more likely to happen than not sometime between X and Y. Look at this one. Link was getting super tight and you were running out of time for it to break up or down. On the chart pattern we currently have on indices, I don't have that type of tightening range that's set to break, so I can't give you a time. All right, Bitcoin, I told y'all it was a beauty. We're squeezing on the hourly chart. We're consolidating in time versus price. Do y'all see this? We're going sideways, and that is cooling off RSI. We're consolidating in time versus price. And that is beautiful for the Bitcoin bulls. That's a good sign. They're consolidating, they're holding hourly EMAs, and they're saying, we're just going to get our rest on, but we're not going to give up any ground while we're resting. And that is good bullish news for Bitcoin bulls. And think about a sprinter that sprints a race and they come back to the bench to sit down. And they're just taking a breather. And bears are not taking advantage of the bulls' inactivity during this time period. Bulls have been able to defend and fight them off while they take a rest. And whatever analogy you need to put in your head to make this make sense, if my analogies don't make any sense to you, that's okay. I like to just think through things logically so I can get my hands touching around what is happening. And then something else comes to mind when I look at Bitcoin chart. I had a mentor that said, don't ever short a quiet market. This is what he meant. When you have a market going sideways under recent highs and the prior trend is up, this is not the chart to short. And we may get a wonderful opportunity to short it if that ETF news comes out and it pops this big, maybe to 40,000, then we can get a short opportunity. That would be lovely. I always like that statement, don't ever short a quiet market. All right, the dollar. I hope some of y'all are out there getting tattoos of this chart. We've talked about it ad nauseum. You see that little bear break of that head and shoulders that got no follow through? I pound the table on this, and I promise I don't think y'all are dense. I'm just dense, and I like to say stuff over and over. Faux head and shoulders. Bear break without follow through. Zoom out and look for a bull flag on a higher time frame. Do y'all see it? We had an Apple head and shoulders last week that made me pound the table on that because it was a potential 4-hour bull flag on a higher time frame, and the hourly chart had a potential head and shoulders. And Nvidia. I've said this till I am blue in the face. Everybody and their brother and mother was looking at this head and shoulders, and this weekly lower high top fish was a beauty, an absolute beauty. We did not get follow through. You zoom out, we have a monthly bull flag on a higher time frame. I even have it written over here because I've beaten that dead horse. I told y'all I wanted a $400 break for my birthday present, and it didn't happen. Good morning. Hey, Ben's chair. Thank you, MG. I knew I could depend on you. Okay, Tan. I'm sorry, I stop and I take member requests first because I know who's in here who's a TCG member, at least I think I do. And when they ask me questions, they get preferential treatment. That's just the way it goes. Okay, so we're looking for a potential long swing in tan. We had this bullish divergence here on the daily chart where RSI made a higher low while price was making a lower low. It got a decent bounce yesterday. I want to be careful in this area because we have to stave off a bear flag on higher time frame. This is a classic daily bear flag pattern. So tan, we may get a pullback buy to $42.50, below $42. We're wrong and the bottom's not in yet, okay? So just be careful, and you just want to be protective of any gains. If you bought that dip and you have some gains, be protective. Taras, yes. Here's another saying that I was spitting these sayings off to someone last week, and I'm like, I need to write all these down. Being a good trader. What does it take to be a good trader? You need to have strong convictions held loosely. That is tough. That is so tough. And I know some traders that are absolutely amazing with their strong convictions, but they shift gears when they're wrong. They don't just jump out when they see a 5-minute candle go against them. But if the daily close, if they're swinging and they're watching daily closes, they wait until they have a confirmation that their thesis is invalidated, and then they get out of the trade. And I've got another challenge for you. What if you wanted to go long or short the indices right here? What if I said, wait till you get an up candle on the 2 or 5 minute chart before you go short? What if every short you took, you waited for a 5-minute uptick to take it short, or every long you took, you waited for a 5-minute downtick to take it long? How much different would your trading look? It's tough. It's really tough to say, okay, I'm going to step in and go long this on the next tick down, or I'm going to go short this on the next tick up. It's tough, but just think about it. I always tell y'all, make time for thinking. All right, gold. It's 6:46. I'm not even to the queen of the mountain trades. Does this remind you of something? Let me put them next to each other so I can give away the hint. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. War chart. Gold is consolidating sideways, consolidating in time versus price. Look at this RSI cooling off. Daily RSI, no longer overbought. Weekly's not overbought. 4-hour, no longer overbought. Hourly, no longer overbought. Let me just type it. When you have a name that's been in a huge uptrend and it's consolidating sideways, as a bull, you can ask for nothing more than that. And gold has been doing this while the dollar's doing this. Dollar's doing this, and gold, I moved it, now I'm all messed up. And gold's doing this. That is super healthy. Dollar bull's going nuts and gold doesn't even care, just going sideways. Super bullish divergence. Oil. Weekly lower high is set. That was a beaut, Clark. Daily lower high set. Now on the next bounce, we're looking for a daily lower high. I would love to get to hourly overbought. We may get that with inventory today for a potential top fish setup in oil. Oil has been my favorite trade. So I had an XLE position. When did I start it? Here. I put my entry where my stop was, got 80-cent fill, and I had exit, 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 and then close. Almost 60, 70% profit on that one. That was a pretty good one on XLE. I hope a lot of you took that. Super tough, ain't it awesome? Oh, hey, OMC, my birthday is next Wednesday, and I'll just go ahead and tell y'all I will be out next week. My husband is surprising me with a birthday trip. I have no idea where I'm going. It's a big birthday. It's a big one. And I won't be here next week. But Charting Me and Dan will be filling in, and the team will be filling in. So I hope that you give them all the support that you give me. Hit that like button, as always, for them and for me if you can. I'd appreciate it. So oil, I'm looking for bounces to continue to short. But I need a bounce here. I can't short it down in the hole. Nat gas is up. They're trying to set that weekly higher low. This still could be a daily bear flag. Be careful. Be careful with nat gas. All right, Apple was weak yesterday, daily inside bar, while other names were breaking the high of the prior day. Apple was unable to, and it's weak this morning. Earnings next week. If Google's cloud revenue is down, I don't know what that means for Apple. Super heavy. I'm reading my notes. We're sideways on Apple. Apple is a short until it wants to get its head out the mud. It's been an ostrich approach. Everybody else has been running, and Apple's just like sitting on its duff. So Apple is weak. Look what we're running into, the hourly 50 MA. Yep, turning. Average guy, your birthday's Halloween too? Yep, turning 29 again. You know what? Never mind. Amazon did break through the prior day high. It got a pop on Microsoft earnings, then came back into normal range, into yesterday's range. We're down on the morning. We're down 1%. I don't like this, y'all. Daily lower high, the more likely scenario. Apple, daily lower high, the more likely scenario. Nvidia, daily lower high, the more likely scenario. Tesla, daily lower high, the more likely scenario. You get it? You got it? Good? Okay. And this may be the day that market bulls show up, but I can't give them the benefit of the doubt till I see the whites of their eyes, and I haven't yet. Nvidia was super strong yesterday. If we could get a pullback buy to yesterday's low, that would be nice. I don't know if we're going to get it. That was a small range yesterday. So the average range on NVIDIA is $16 and we only moved $10 yesterday. So that was a tight range. We only moved half of the normal range on NVIDIA. So things kind of got tight there for a little bit. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to buy the dip compared to yesterday's low. I don't have a trade set up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going through these big names and we all love to take these names in trades, but I just don't have a setup here. They bounced. The low is likely set. But now we're looking for lower highs. So I just don't know. I like NVIDIA long if I had to pick out of these four. CCJ. Dan has been pounding the table on this one. A weekly lower high is the more likely scenario. He loves these bull breaks without follow through. Then look for the 4-hour rising wedge to mark a weekly lower high. And I like that setup too. So I think a top fish of $38.99 makes sense. I'm going to skip Mara for right now. Netflix. This is going to be a tough one, y'all. Weekly, 200 MAs overhead. Weekly lower high is the more likely scenario. 4-hour RSI is 77 since we had good earnings last week. But I am looking for a top fish setup on Netflix against 416.69. And really, ideally, it would be 420. I don't know what the market's obsession with 420 is. Ha ha ha. But maybe we'll get a 420 top fish setup. If Netflix continues to be the relative outperformer, then I just back away from this idea. PANW. Okay, here it is again. Monthly bull flag confirmed without follow through. Daily lower high, the more likely scenario. And hourly could be a rising wedge. Bull breaks without follow through. I like a PANW top fish against 253. And I recognize that all of my Queen of the Mountains are short and I could not find a bullish setup that I like, so I'm not going to force it. Okay, Starbucks, weekly lower high, the more likely scenario. Daily 50 MA overhead. You see that? Bam! And look at that hourly squeeze. I like Starbucks to the downside against 94.83. I need to put this up here. Did any of y'all get Tilt or TLT or Baba yesterday? This is nice and tight. You may be able to trade this either way, but I don't like it long with that weekly lower high, the more likely scenario, and daily 50 MA overhead. Now to Mara. I've already taken a Mara short. I've already taken some profit. Let's see. I'm just going to show you what my entry is. $96066. Ugh, that's a bad number. 666. Okay, so that is my entry short on MARA. They had dilution after hours. Yes, Bitcoin is strong, but this is their second round of dilution, and I don't even know how long. Where was the other dilution? Was it back here? That probably makes sense up here. So this is their second time to get dilution. Look at the daily 50 and 200 MA overhead. Y'all know that is my dream scenario. I love those setups. When those key daily moving averages are overhead and then you're going to dilute and you're only down 1.84%. The only thing saving this thing right now is Bitcoin. So if we could get a gap fill of 902, that would be wonderful. And yes, I'm letting myself have imagination. Where could this go? And then where am I wrong? This could go to 902 for a gap fill. And where am I wrong? I would say over 970, I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah. Yep, legendary. Google had earnings. All right. Y'all have a lot of chart requests and it's 6:55. Weekly lower high, the more likely scenario on McCormick. We got a tiny daily higher high, but that's not very impressive. This is bearish. I would do reverse back burner. I did see another MCK chart. This is MKC, but MCK, this chart looks great. I was looking at this weekend, like, gosh, that thing is beautiful. McKesson. Daily lower high, what does it mean? So right here, let me do the path. Higher high, higher low, and now bears are looking for a lower high. Sorry, I'm spelling this out because I get this so much. And this is part of what we teach in Chart Guys. We have tons of professional traders that use this every day for their edge. Lower high is the more likely scenario. That odds that you have, let me do the fib pull. Magnets off. Dang, I'm spending a lot of time on this, but that's okay. You pulled back 70% of this move. So you had this huge move up and you retraced 70%. That means you've got a 70% chance of getting a lower high. And I just changed the fib into a probability to help explain it. A lower high is the more likely scenario. The odds that we take out 26590 and make a higher high is very low. Specifically, it's about 30% chance that we would get a higher high. A lower high is the more likely scenario. Bears are just waiting to pounce. Now I'll show you another one that I like that I didn't put on here. AVGO. Weekly looks good. That's why I didn't put it on here. But a daily lower high is the more likely scenario here. LRCX, daily lower high, the more likely scenario. So I hope that makes sense. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. Use stop losses, TCG members. I'll have these notes over to you in just a jiffy.